I'm a senior at Princeton University, majoring in electrical and computer engineering.
I'm a senior at Princeton studying molecular biology.
I'm a senior at Princeton University studying public policy, international affairs, with aspirations to go to law school, inshallah.
Through this experience with Hibr, I actually learned it's the small things that make the difference with your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being able to practice pronouncing Surah Al-Fatiha with the right makharij and the right tajweed. Just the small surah made a huge difference in my recitation in other parts of the Quran. Just being able to feel every single harakah, every single word, the weight of every single harakah and word. Learning about the basic fiqh was really, really helpful as well, for correcting some of my understandings of the faith. I also had the opportunity to take a couple other classes with Sheikh Aisha. I took one on traditional psychology or tazkiyah, and that was really beautiful because as Sheikh Aisha talked to us about, oftentimes when we look at improving our faith, we look at the external. But subhanAllah, we always miss out on the internal. And so I learned about tahliyah and takhliyah, so picking and adorning the beautiful traits within yourself, but also taking out the traits that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love. I also took a tafsir intensive course over Ramadan, even the shortest surahs that I read, in my salah, and it just made a huge difference. One of the biggest things in improving my religion on the smaller scale was seeing how Islam is incorporated into our everyday, even in a secular education, even
getting closer to Allah. And that is why I valued my time in Hibr Institute. One major thing I would want to highlight about the time here was the core essence of learning the Fatiha. Especially as students in Princeton, you feel that if you're going to do Islamic education, you want to have some high kind of system of education. In the sense, you want to be learning the in-depth fiqh, the in-depth seerah, the in-depth hadith, and you want to go out of bounds for all these kind of other aspects. But subhanAllah, the reason I really value this institute because it grounds you to earth. It grounds you to what education in Islam really is, in the sense that Islamic education is all about foundations. And it's also all about valuing education. You're not just getting education to add attributes to yourself, but rather you're getting education to learn more about Islam, structure your connection with Allah more sincerely, and so you can actually perform the obligations you have with Allah in the right way. And this is where the Fatiha comes. And me personally, I've learned so much, and my recitation has grown in tremendous levels in my time during the Hibr Institute, just by learning the fundamentals of reciting Fatiha. And that is something that I have to thank Allah for guiding me to be able to educate it by Sheikh Abdul Rahman. The way he used Fatiha to kind of teach us most of the rules on how to recite the Quran, and at first you think it's repetitive, but subhanAllah, once you actually start to apply these kind of rules that he has told us during these short segments in class, you start seeing that daily recitations you do in the Quran become more smooth, and that you start to actually enjoy the connection with the Quran. And ultimately, to conclude, that is what I find the most pleasing outcome of this class, being the fact that my relationship with the Quran has grown significantly. I'm able to read the Quran without many pauses, more fluently, and actually listening to others, I feel like I can correct them in a sense if I hear major mistakes. And I think that is a skill that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. That's a skill I'm going to be able to introduce to my children. And that's why I ultimately would recommend this to other people who are interested in this institute. As a Muslim man or a Muslim woman, when you're gaining this education about reciting the Quran, you're not only thinking about yourself, but you're also thinking about the generations you're going to raise. And once we as a community start to push away these kind of required fundamental knowledgeable pursuits, then we're not only going to be blamed, but our own generations will have that consequence of our lack of knowledge. So, inshallah, I would actually strongly recommend anybody to actually go to this institute.
I would also want to really highlight that both the Sheikh and the Sheikha have been really welcoming and open and really, humble, down-to-earth people to talk to. I know it's a little intimidating when you're first, entering these spaces and dealing with people whose religion whose, understanding of the religion and knowledge of the religion, far surpasses yourself, and it may be a little intimidating. However, they've been really welcoming, really open, and that's really made the learning space really inviting. And, it's a big reason why I keep coming back. And on a broader note, I would really urge every single person who's interested in developing their understanding of the religion, learning from the people who have, trained under mashayikh in the religion, to really take advantage of this opportunity, because it's really been the first experience in my life where I found where I can reach out to people who are very accommodating, very, open, and also very knowledgeable, and, have a strong understanding of how to relay information to people of, young adult age like myself, as well as, across a wide spectrum of ages.
Hibr has their logo, which is light, love, and legacy, right? Our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is built upon fear and hope, but ultimately upon love. And through that, we become, inshallah, lights for other people, just as other people like Sheikh Abdurrahman and Sheikh Aisha were lights for us. And eventually, we can find our own legacies in the world, with whatever means, in the path of serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I recommend anyone, no matter what you're studying, you don't have to be studying religion, but reinforce your Islamic knowledge even a little bit, because it really makes a difference. Jazakallah khairan wa assalamu alaikum.